Well, thank you so much, Liz. And what a great morning it is to be here together in Manchester to support our democracy and to ensure that we in Washington are translating the will of the voters into good policies that are going to move this country forward. So I want to thank all of our speakers for your words here this morning, for your activism, and for just all the enthusiasm that's represented in this crowd. This is really terrific. This coalition that has brought us here together this morning is dedicated to ensuring the right to vote is not infringed and that we're doing all we can to pass legislation in Washington to protect that right to vote, to guarantee free and fair elections, and to get the undue influence of big special interest money out of our electoral system once and for all. Now, the power in our government is derived from we, the people. It's not we, the lobbyists. It's not we, the super PACs. It's not we, the corporations. We, the people. And it's about time that the voices of everyday Americans were front and center in Washington and in state houses across this country so that truly this is a government of, by, and for the people. And I'm just so thankful that we have so many folks here in New Hampshire who are taking up this cause. H.R. 1 and the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act are groundbreaking pieces of legislation that will shore up our democracy against efforts to make it harder to vote and rig our political system. These efforts have ramped up since the last election, fueled by dangerous conspiracy theories like the big lie about President Biden's victory. And we know this pattern is familiar to us in New Hampshire. We have seen this song and dance routine before. We saw it after the 2016 election. We've seen it in insinuations about college students here in New Hampshire. And we know that we are stronger as a state and as a country when everyone's voice is heard in our democracy, and that's what we're fighting for here. So there are hundreds of voter suppression bills pending across the country that seek to suppress the vote. Our democracy belongs to all of us and is not the property of any one political party or any one special interest group. And if we're serious about encouraging everyone to participate and reflecting the will of the voters at the ballot box and in our work, then we have additional work to do. So we saw during the pandemic how in New Hampshire, when we made it easier for individuals to vote, they appreciated the choice to be able to vote safely and securely from home. And that's one of the provisions that's supported in H.R. 1, the For the People Act. And that's one of the reasons why I've co-sponsored the bill and voted for it twice over the last 2 years. The fact is, it shouldn't take a pandemic or a blizzard on town meeting day to realize that we should be making voting easier and not harder for people here in the Granite States and in other states across the country. H.R. 1 and H.R. 4, the John Lewis bill, have a number of provisions that would accomplish this, from automatic registration to early vote and removing practices that are known to put up barriers for individuals to access the right to vote. I'm pleased that my legislation has been included in this effort. It's the Protect the Youth Vote Act, which looks to stop systemic efforts to target young people and college students, and we've got to make sure that we are aware of those efforts and doing everything we can to stop them. Other critical provisions in the bill will limit the influence of dark special interest money and to take on corruption. And as has been mentioned, we find ourselves in a redistricting year, and we know how important it is for New Hampshire and for the other 49 states to have fair maps when it comes to their congressional representatives and their state and local officials. Yes. Look, gerrymandering is wrong when Republicans do it, and it's wrong when Democrats do it. And these bills would address both of those scenarios, and that's why I'm such a passionate supporter of them. We've got to put the power of our democracy into your hands and to make sure that politicians aren't picking our elected officials, that you all are picking our elected officials. So I continue to urge my colleagues, Senator Hassan and Senator Shaheen and others in the Senate, to pass these bills. I think we're hearing some good news coming out of the Senate of a compromise and a path forward, potentially to a vote this week on the For the People Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, and I continue to hope that the Senate can find a way forward here. Look, only when we give everyone a seat at the table are we truly going to live up to our full potential as a nation. It's been mentioned here today in terms of some of the issues that voters are clamoring for, whether it's action on climate change, whether it's health care, whether it is access to reproductive rights. It's important that we're reflecting the will of the voters, and the way we do that is by ensuring each and every person can vote and each and every person is heard. So I hear you, And I hope that my colleagues in Washington will continue to hear you and the need to get something done here. Look, in my time in the House, it was a true honor to be able to serve alongside John Lewis. He was a hero. He represented the moral compass, not just of the Congress, but of the country. And he would often say that his journey was not the journey of a day, a week, a month, or a year. It was the journey and the struggle of a lifetime. Unfortunately, he's left us. And so that struggle is now our struggle. We have to carry that forward to truly make sure this is a country that reflects the dignity of our people and the voices of each and every person in our country. We can do this. This is not just the right thing to do and the American thing to do, it's also the popular thing to do. The people of New Hampshire stand with you all, and I'm just really pleased to be able to reflect that in our work in Washington. Thank you for coming out here today, and thank you, Liz, for putting this together.